Totals for week 9, total expenses were $3,052 at 78 cents per mile. Total revenue was $6,291 at $1.60 per mile. That brings our net settlement to $3,239 at 82 cents per mile. Welcome back to Trucking the 7 Seas. This is episode number 61, and in this episode, we're going to go over week 9 of the Landstar Owner-Operator Program. We have a pretty good week this week, mostly because we have a load carryover from last week that we did almost entirely last week, but it didn't hit last week's paycheck. It's going to hit this one, so as a result, we have a pretty good week this week. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I started this channel in order to show exactly what truck drivers make. We started as a company driver working for night transportation, moved on to a lease operator working for night transportation, and now we are an owner-operator working for Landstar. I show all of the loads I take, what the revenue is, what the expenses are, and what my net cash flow is, and I compile all of this information that I put into a spreadsheet that I share with you at the end of every video. So if this is a topic that interests you, follow the channel. So last episode we left off in Georgia. So we were in Georgia and I was having some APU issues. My APU wouldn't turn on. I brought it to the Atlanta Thermo King. They looked at it and started working on it. It worked for a couple of days and then stopped working again. But I ended up taking it to Atlanta, started working, then booked a load from Atlanta to Las Vegas, and then on the way to Vegas, the APU stopped working again. So we are basically on our way to Las Vegas, and we ended up booking this load right here. So yeah, so we booked this load from Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is Atlanta, and to Las Vegas, Nevada. It doesn't say the amount, but it's 2,000 miles and paid $3,785, which equates to $1.90 per mile. So booked that one. Pretty standard load. Was delivering to the convention center again. This one has quite a bit of time built into it, and that's okay because I basically ended up taking my truck into the Thermo King. So we just booked it, and then I took it to the Thermo King, and then dropped it off at the Thermo King, and they had a nice gated fence there and everything, so it was all good. And yeah, so while I was waiting, the Thermo King was working on it, and then once they were done, we went ahead and delivered it on the 6th. So let's head to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
Oh yeah, so we delivered that load to Las Vegas, Nevada. So we delivered it to the convention center there, and then by that time I think we delivered it, and by the time I got the APU confirmed working, it was like Friday or something like that. So at that point I was kind of in a hurry to get something over the weekend, and I ended up booking a load in Irwindale, California. So you can see it right on your screen right now. So Irwindale, California to Fort Smith, Arkansas. And this load paid all right. I mean, after Landstar takes before Landstar took its cut, it was $2,600, which wasn't too bad for a 1,500 mile load. However, because the deadhead was actually so much, it was like 250 miles deadhead, this load was probably a mistake now that I'm looking at it, because it was a 1,500 mile load, but I had to deadhead 250 miles, so that's not good. But this load was a drop-in hook, so I wanted to make sure I could book something that I could get over the weekend, and this load I could. So I was working on the APU, and I didn't know when it was going to be done. So they were working on it Friday, and this load I was able to pick up drop and hook on Saturday. So I decided to book it for that reason, which wasn't a very good reason. And in the end, this load had too much deadhead. It was like 250 miles of deadhead. And because of that, it paid $2,500, but if you include the deadhead, I only got paid about $1.68 per mile after Landstar takes his cut and after deadhead. So not the smartest load. Should not have taken this one probably. Didn't pay enough for that. But I ended up taking it, and now we're going to Fort Smith, Arkansas. So let's go.
Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, I don't wanna jinx it, baby.
Okay, yeah, so there was the load to Fort Smith, Arkansas. That one went pretty smoothly. And then I ended up booking another load going from Pryor, Oklahoma, which is kind of by Oklahoma City. and then it was going to Ontario, California. However, that load is not going to make the paycheck, so we're going to get into the spreadsheet right now. For week 9, we did 2 loads. In those 2 loads, we got 3,937 miles. We were paid a total of $6,291 at $1.60 per mile. Landstar's cut was $1,715 at 44 cents per mile. Fuel expenses were $1,773 at 45 cents per mile, and there were no maintenance expenses this week. Other expenses: workers' comp $72, card fee $1.75, card fee $4, truck scan $66, escrow $33, bobtail $3, license fees $10, plates $32, Omnitrax $93, APU payment was $410, and my heavy highway use tax was $550 for a total of $1,279 at 32 cents per mile. Totals for week 9: total expenses were $3,052 at 78 cents per mile. Total revenue was $6,291 at $1.60 per mile. That brings our net settlement to $3,239 at 82 cents per mile. Total since starting the program, we have driven a total of 17,037 miles. Total expenses were $18,040 at $1.06 per mile, and that is my cost per mile right there. Total revenue was $26,367 at $1.55 per mile. That brings our total profit loss to $8,327 at 49 cents per mile. Averages and other information: average weekly paycheck is $925. We are averaging 1,893 miles per week. Total fuel costs have been $8,134 at 48 cents per mile. Total maintenance costs are $4,952 at 29 cents per mile. Total other expenses were $4,953 at 29 cents per mile as well. If we kept this up for a 52-week period, we'd get $48,113 and drive a total of 98,436 miles. Landstar's 35% cut has been a total of $8,552 at 50 cents per mile. We've been employed 63 days or 9 weeks, taken 10 days off, 53 days on duty, taken 15 total loads, and the average load length is 1,136. Okay, so caveats for this week. We had 2 big payments come out. So my APU payment is $410 per month. So that's a per month payment right there is $400. And I had to pay my heavy highway use tax to the government for $550. So those 2 payments came out. We also had this load right here, which was mostly done last week, but it hit this settlement, so it's on this week. And then we had another load right here, which was pretty long as well. So obviously, damn near 4,000 miles is not really normal, but the reason why it's so high is because we did a large portion of this load right here last week, so as a result our paycheck is a little bit juiced for that reason. Okay, added a cell right here. So this number shows what I'm booking the loads for. So I just calculated it out what I'm booking the loads for. This does not include deadhead. So when I'm on the load board and I'm booking loads for an average of $2.24 per mile. Again, that's before Landstar takes its cut, so just be aware of that. Some people were confusing this number right here, thinking I was booking those for $1.55, and then Landstar takes its cut. So I decided just to put that little cell right there to show. And 224 is not great. I definitely want to improve that. Lately, I haven't been booking loads for less than about 250, generally. Not always, but getting a little better at it. The first month, I was certainly booking some bad loads. Learning the ropes and things like that, and going to particular areas because I was trying to pick up plates and whatnot. Did hurt me. Took a couple loads to Salt Lake and did things like that, which were not helpful. But yeah, as of right now, I'm booking loads for an average of 224 per mile, and I'm going to try to get that up to about 250 per mile. And I think I'll be pretty satisfied if I can get up to 250 average. I think I'll be doing a lot better there. But yeah, 224 per mile. Not exactly proud of that. So I definitely need to improve that one right there. Okay, yeah, guys, so that's about it. There's a spreadsheet. There's this week. Not bad. Had some big payments right here, about $1,000 worth of payments and taxes, which hurt the overall, but it was such a high mileage week that didn't matter too much. So did okay this week, and this right here actually got bumped up by about 11 cents per mile, actually. So I think last week it was at like 38 cents per mile or something like that. Still not great, but the numbers getting pushed forward here, so we're making progress. My maintenance expenses are still very high, so that's definitely slowing me down, but we'll see how it goes. And I expect this number to continue to creep upward week after week. And yeah, but that will do for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you were interested in this spreadsheet or any of the other spreadsheets I've done in the past, they are available in the About section. After you open them, just hit File, Download, and you can download them to a Microsoft Excel sheet. And then after you download them, you can use them however you please. But that will do it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.